Well, when the letter dropped onto the doorstep, I nearly did a fandango, I can tell you. HMS? Oh dear Queenie, writing to me? I thought to myself, I'm not 100 yet. Couldn't be my birthday card. Well, I'd love to open that. Oh, but I had surprises before. Not all of them what they thought they might be. No, I make myself a cup of cha and butter myself a bit of crumpet. Oh, no, darling. Not that sort of crumpet. I thought, well, I could certainly do with a bit at the moment. We'll come to that. I want to settle me nerves, open it. I better take me pills. Anyway, Her Majesty can just join the club with all the other queens queuing up for me ducky. It's been a long while since Her Majesty wrote to me, and the last time wasn't very pleasant, I can tell you. Oh, that's the best tea in the world, that is. You know, I know whatever's going to be in the letter, there's nothing they can do me for this time. That went out in the 60s. Oh, that Wolfenden chap, he helped us queers. Oh, gone and got the law changed for us, he did. No, but I tell you, the brass were positively obsessed with men's bottoms then. They wanted to know everything about men's bottoms in those days, where they were, what they were doing and when. Made it quite difficult to avoid them when all they wanted was to find us. It was quite a difficult time for all of us, I can tell you. Oh, tipping the velvet round the old cods was always a favourite of mine. It all happens when I get ready to go out. I go to the crimpers that morning to get me bounce done. Oh, I'm looking in the mirror afterwards. I thought, oh, you look dolly, total drag. I pull on my velvet whistle, put my pecorari around my neck, and I am the dolly cracker. Totally dander, I can tell you. Now, off for a little cottaging up in the dilly to do the pleasant deed and complete the full harvest, so to speak. Oh, the excitement of it all. Oh, those lavender boys. Now, I don't want any of those Nelly soft boys. Only a manly Alice for me. Especially lower class trade. They had more go in them. Oh, the thought sends shivers down my spine. Now, there is this one lad. He is fabulosa, I can tell you. Oh, just look at that cracker with the tight Corey bungers. Come on, come on. I beckon him into the cubicle. We weren't bothered about the glory hole. No. Never mind of why, my dear. I'm a bit of an exhibitionist, if truth be told. Oh, some of us positively enjoy the thought of a few jeepers peepers looking on. Off come his caffies, then the underpandy down his rankly pankles. Oh, but despite his gloriosa from the outside, he had very little to offer in the codswallop department. Oh, nada in the larder, as we say. Probably stuffed a pair of almond rocks down his Y-fronts. Lord, I can't say I'd noticed. Too eager to get at the meat and too veg. Always was. You know, some of these blowjobs have had are like pastry cutters, teeth like vampires. I always take my teeth out. Nanty pots in the pantry, as it were. Oh, but this boy's packet differ wasn't full. Oh, but goer he was indeed. I felt like a hot dog on a Monday morning after a dip in the chilli sauce. I was wrung out on the Nelly mangle by the time he'd finished. Oh, pots for rags. By this time, when I come out the cubicle, standing there is Mr. Hilda Handcuffs. Just popped in to see if there's any flies buzzing round the pot. Well, of course, darling. The dilly's always buzzing. Merry Alice's, tuft heads, hairy Harolds, wobbly Wilfs. They didn't know if they were Arthur or Martha, Dilly or Dally. And then there were the TV Toms, the Tranny sisters. Oh, God, the lashes on them. They gave old Mother Riley's broom a run for her money, I can tell you. All us iron hoofs in one stable. Nice for us, but easy catch for the brass. Anyway, this particular copper asks, "What are you doing here?" I stepped back a bit and peered. Oh, my eyesight's never been much good. And I sort of recognised him, but I couldn't quite place him. "I'm into plumbing," I said. "Bit of piping in the back boiler and it sets up your heating system." "Don't be funny with me," he says. Although it looked like he was trying to suppress a smile. "How do you keep your youth?" I asked him. He looked a bit pleased. And then I added, "Where did you find him in the first place?" He smirked. "Right there, I see it." He's weakening. He says, "Come on, the party's over." "Oh," I say, "it's certainly all over, my friend. All over his mush from ear to ear, I'd say." He says, "You better get some legal advice." And I say, "Well, I've already a lot of criminal practice behind me." I wasn't going to bleat to any bogey. But by this time, to my surprise, the copper was laughing. Turns out it was the lad I'd had in the cubicle a few nights before, and he'd come back to find me. He'd been forced into the brass by his dad, who was a copper. Turns out he's a Mary Ann himself. You know, I thought there was something up. He's an overtly pretty young chick. They put them on the beat to catch us at it, you know. It's called enticement now. But then it was the way they got us. It really is a poor show of them. My Hilda Handcuffs turns out to be as queer as the rest of us, bent as a 9-bob note, he says. He leaves the force pretty sharpish after, I can tell you. He thinks this is all a bit of a laugh. Funny they should take us out of our cottages, well, or at least we're all in one place, to pick us up and put us in lock-up cells, where there was little to do all day but to have mutual barclays with other men. A hotbed of licking fishes, fabulosa. Jennifer Justice certainly knows what's best for us ladies. It's a veritable meat rack, sweetheart. Although you had to mind not to catch the caterva carts, or you'd be itching for weeks down in the Corabunda, and then no tootsie trade for months. Oh, I suppose I'd better look at it. What? Oh, it really does beg a belief. A bloody pardon? For what? They think I even want a bloody pardon? It's a sodding apology I want. What an insult. The upstanding brass, bent as a fiddler's elbow, protecting society from people like me, not on your smelly Nelly. Here, listen to this. Anyone who was convicted of an abolished homosexual offence involving consensual activity with a person over 17 is by law pardoned for the offence. No action is required for a pardon in these circumstances. A bloody cheek! Of course I'll send it back. Well, maybe with that Pongo turdy in the envelope, they can just fuck off. No, it would be laughable if it wasn't so cruel. We only had 5 years together before they came for us. But all those years ago, it got to me, you know. Things were never right after they came for us. They got an even bigger grudge against Hilda, him being a copper turning queer and all. Oh, not on, turning to the dark side, they saw it. I've forgotten a lot of the old Polari lingo now. All that time inside. The aversions therapy, it fried my brains. It held me down with a rubber bit between my teeth and plugged me in like an electric lamp. Oh, still, at least I've got my Hilda. Sometimes you never get over it. I often think of all those lads who never came out again. All that callow youthfulness crushed like a butterfly with its wings pulled off. I found my Hilda hanging in the bathroom from the cord of his bathrobe. The irony of it was I had to call the brass to come and cut him down. Oh, no, I can't forgive it. I can't forgive them. Some of us just never got over it all. Yeah. Just to make the day go a little easier. Oh, that'll see me right. You have to look forward, don't you? Oh, my little carer's coming tomorrow. Oh, sprightly young bean, bowl of Vada. I mean a chicken, but with a lovely Cora bunga. Oh, I think tomorrow's shower day. Now that'll be nice. He often gives me a rub down. Oh, totally professional, of course, darling. Well, so far. I suspect he is a friend of Dorothy. Never know what might happen. Must hope for the best. Anyway, as Scarlett says, tomorrow is another day.
Cost-Chretien. It's a sweet name. Apparently it means sweet, so that's double sweet, sweet, sweet. Oh, I wonder how much it will be to go to Edinburgh by train. I'd love to take the little one. See Tien Tien and the baby. Perhaps I call it Meow Meow. Or Pow Pow. You know, it's a bit... Right. So, pregnant. And Zoo. Edinburgh. I'll have to book my scan in soon. It's exciting. Oh my God, it's Friday tomorrow. That means Pam's in. Oh, just imagine a double Pam. Pam, Pam. One's bad enough. I'll have to tell her soon. She keeps staring at my stomach. That's the third time you've been since this morning. I mean, why doesn't she just come straight out? Have you got a UTI, Gail, or just an STD? I suppose I could tell her after I picked up the Danish pastries, the leftovers. She said happy as then. Greedy cow. Well, I have to say that Jackie in Human Resources knows her stuff. I mean, who'd have thought that taking up an instrument would take your mind off your colleagues? A character clash, she calls it. I mean, I just think Pam's just increasingly jealous of my bump. But they encourage respect and positivity at work. So that means you can't call a bitch, even when she's being a bitch. But suggest that maybe due to different life experiences, she'll have different attitudes, and that only by working professionally and with a good work ethic can you both shine. So this is a B. P-I-T-C-H B-I-T-C-H. Poor Tien Tien. I mean, she's happy enough in her separate quarters, and she gets extra buns and bamboo. There's still no baby panda yet. Oh my God, Pam was unbearable. I wanted to just walk out, but management were in. And there were extra cream eclairs on the trolley, so that's always a good thing. Pam took 5 for her brood, she said. I'm sure Dave never gets to see any cream except for the bit that's left in the corner of her mouth. She probably eats 4 on the way home. She suddenly said, "Was it the man you met at the services?" I was photocopying at the time. I said, "Pam, you really confused me there." She was pointing at my stomach with a pen. "You know, on Grumble, that man." And then I remembered. A man had got in touch with me from Match.com and said, "Why don't we meet at the hotel off the M1? We don't need to use any condoms." I shouldn't have told her, but she just kept going on and on about her darling Dave and her twins with their matching degrees and her beautiful daughter who wants to be a pilot. And I thought, okay, Pam, welcome to my world of singledom, childlessness, internet dating. She probably had nightmares for weeks, or fantasies. I never did meet that man. He didn't reply after the photo I sent him that he requested. I didn't tell Pam that bit though. I couldn't go into work today, not after Human Resources rang. They asked me how things were on certain days of the week, i.e. when Pam Pam's around, And then, how are things at home? I said, fine. What's this about? They said, let's arrange a face-to-face chat tomorrow. They've even booked a meeting room. I know this because it's my job to book meeting rooms, and there's my name. I didn't know whether to order cream cakes. And so rather than go to facilities, I asked human resources and they said best not, because the cream cakes are perks for the lawyers and their clients. I mean, how can I go in after that? I don't even know what it's about. There's the uniform debate that's been going on a while. I recently said that if there's going to be trouser suits, I'm going to need elasticated waists. Sally and Pam just stared at me. Edinburgh Zoo says Tian Tian's faking her pregnancy. I mean, come on, she's a panda. What do bears know about faking? They said pandas often do this so that they get special treatment. She's probably enjoying just being away from the other jealous female panda bears. I mean, who's to say she hasn't given birth, and because the baby's so small, the zoo staff haven't seen it and swept it up. The poo and the hay. Poor girl. When you are a panda, your father is a very small. Need proof. I mean, what more proof do they need apart from these massive breasts? And I mean, if it's a private doctor, obviously he's going to tell my employers what they want to hear. And then they need proof to allow me time off for scans and, I don't know, midwife checks. He had the cheek to say that a poorly functioning thyroid can lead one to put on excess weight, and that fat breeds fat, especially in this region. I said, what about the lack of periods? He said, well, a woman of your age can experience difficulties in this area of life. Your age. Your age? I mean, why not just spit it out? We think you're past it, woman. I said I didn't know why I was being subjected to all these questions, and couldn't people just be happy for me? He said that my colleagues have been expressing concern about my mental health for some time, and that they weren't aware of me having had the opportunity to get pregnant. I said, does Pam accompany me outside of work? He said I'd always talked at length about any dates I'd been on, that they'd never continued through to second dates. I said it only takes one rogue sperm. Second dates or any intimacy, that I'd always expressed sorrow that there'd never been any intimacy. I thought I'd never used the word intimacy in my life, especially not when talking to Pam. And then he said he'd booked an appointment with a counsellor just for a chat. He said sometimes a woman can crave a baby so much that they imagine themselves into a pseudo state of pregnancy. Like Tian, I shrieked. He said, sorry. I said, never mind. Left. I suppose I could still go to Edinburgh, use up some of my redundancy pay. I'll just buy a shoe bun, Chelsea bun even, just sit outside her enclosure. I mean, even if we don't lock eyes, I'm sure she'll be aware of a kindred spirit. She's wanting more.
They told us today at the label that we're going to be sex gods. Less of the going to be, I said. That made them laugh. Everything I say makes them laugh. And it's not just the accent, our quirky way of putting things, as they call it. Oh, they lap us up. Me up. They say by tomorrow the whole world will. Bob grabbed me as we were leaving today.
Savor this moment,
He said. He had me gripped by my leather jacket, his great stinking breath on my neck.
I'm warning you boys. By this time next week, it'll be like a train has hit you. You won't know your own names.
I don't know his name now, Nils said. What's your name again?
Very funny.
Bob said.
It's all about the journey, never the arrival. Savor the moment.
So here I am, savoring the moment. In 10 minutes, everything changes. In 10 minutes, the track is released for its third time and the new video is launched. 10 simple minutes. The track might do as it did before. Sync without a trace, not even get a radio play. And the video, sure, it's not the bland crap they put out last time, but everyone might hate it. Call it cheesy and we'll go around asking each other, whose idea was that? Who even came up with that cafe, that stupid cartoon? And the three of us will still be here in Sydenham, living on cabbage bread and sleeping on polystyrene, wondering what the hell went wrong in our lives. I'm sure our parents will tell us. I'd better remember this date. Saturday, 19th of October, 1985. Just in case. They always said they were going to make it here. Nils and Anders. I believe them. Well, England's where the music happens. London's the sea. You don't exactly get hit by any trains of success back home. There were no Beatles in Oslo. No June, Paul and Jorgen. I knew I was going to be in a band with them. Knew at the moment I saw them. The electricity. But the direction was all wrong. I mean, Nils was no Jim Morrison, but Anders could whack out a beat. And Nils, he always had something. You just had to see the crowd he drew. I knew I was going to be with him, but I didn't let on for a while. I turned down their offer saying I'd found God. I was only half lying. Music is divine, right? When you have it here, when you find the center of it, where it comes from, or where it should come from within you, when you find that magic. I lacked that magic for many, many years. Like I was kneeling by my bedside, putting my hands together and closing my eyes. But the words were someone else's words. I was repeating, and the voice was not my own. But this track, with this new video, is what's gonna springboard us, is what they keep saying. I can see myself in 5-10 years. We're in a sofa, in a TV studio somewhere, Wogan, and we're telling him, Terry, how it happened, how it came to be. And he's shaking our hands, going on about our fame and fortune and the number ones we've racked up and how it all started. And I will tell him about all the demos and the climbing out that back window. The three of us crawling along the roof and into the back window of the studio. And the wild times. Nils will tell his backflip of a car story. And Terry will say, you were starving, you basically contemplated stealing food. And I will remember this moment. I will conjure up this exact feeling. The one I have now. This feeling. Or I'll be back home with my tail between my legs, teaching at school or still trying to make it. Only by then we won't have this baby soft skin. We'll have wrinkles. And every time we hear what's number one, there'll be all these, oh, what ifs and could have beens. There'll be tales to tell. Nils will say, do you remember that time when you painted your hair Dulux white? And Anders will add, or wore ballet tights to Camden Palais. And I will say, be grateful for my lovely legs. These pins got you free tickets into everywhere. And they'll poke fun about that guy in the peacock feathers who had a major crush on me. And that will be that. All these beginnings of stories and no ending. All journey, no arrival. Who was it said, life is a series of moments? That moments define us. These tiny snatches of time, which are our pivotal points where our life flips from here to there. It's like that T-junction. This T-junction, see, links our flats to our studio. It's that way, down Kirkdale, get you further into Sydenham. It's this way, along Dartmouth Road to Forest Hill, and that way up the hill to Dulwich. A moment all those years ago in Oslo led me to here. And now I'm going in this direction. This track, this new video. And they will lead me to more junctions. More choices, more directions, more destinations. It's all a blur now. How we first turned up in Kirkdale at the studio and said, we want to record, but we don't have a bean between us. And Bob, always so generous, said,
You can record when we're closed.
we played him the track such as it was back then. Only a wimpy kid in comparison to the effervescent energy it is now. I mean, now it just bubbles and it pops. And he said,
What a sound. That sound could really go places. Write more.
he insisted.
Keep writing, keep recording. Have plenty of songs under your belt. So that when you finally land that record deal, and I will get you that deal, you'll be good to go.
Well, I guess we're good to go. The record company asked me to get all these photographs from my mama. Me as a kid, you know? Even the embarrassing one of me as a pimply teen. The press will only get a hold of them anyway. There's this one where I'm about 19, long hair to here, big gap between my teeth, boy from the fjord sweater. I received that photo in the post. Part of me wanted to rip it up. You know, you're not having that. I mean, I'm not that boy anymore. But then, when I looked into his eyes, right into his black and white, smiling eyes, I remembered what it was like to be him back then. How he longed for something incredible. But he didn't know. He had no idea how. He never thought. I mean, he was this boy living in this little rural village. No one in his family had ever. They told us everything will be different. Our whole lives will be touring. Planes, coaches, hotel rooms, girls. It's a given. They'll be lining the streets, they've told us.
Don't let it change you.
Bob said.
Always stay the way you are in here.
But the truth is, and the boy in that picture knows, I've outstripped him already. I want to change, have changed. That door is close to me now. There's only this one, and it's open for me, and the world is calling. Whatever happens, whatever I gain or lose, it's too late. There's no going back. This is my one last shot. That's Nils. He says it's it. It's our song they're playing on the radio.